Hello friends. By now, if you're watching this, cat's out of the bag. I am dabbling in silversmithing as a new medium to sell in my shop. I figured it would be cool to go through all of the supplies that I've bought for this and do a little haul for you guys. However, I know that I probably have gotten some products that are not super effective, or maybe I've missed some altogether, so if you are an experienced silversmith artist, feel free to comment anything that I might have missed, or anything else that I should substitute for better products. Now, I gotta start with this silly one. This is a snorkel mask, but I'm gonna need some kind of eye protection, and I already had this super hard snorkel mask that's gonna work just fine for that. And while I'm pinching pennies, I figure I'm just gonna use this for now. And similarly, on a budget, I'm just using my mask from the pandemic for protection against fumes and such, so should be good for that. But if I do continue silversmithing long term, I might invest in like a whole gas mask. We'll see, but this will be helpful for now. Next, I have this charcoal block for soldering, as well as this anvil that will be helpful for engraving or hammering or anything that I need like a hard surface for. You can also shape with this corner up at the top, possibly shape rings or bales along this as well. And I'm planning to start with rings, like super simple rings. So I got a ring set with like this steel ring sizer that you can also hammer into, as well as an individual sizer where you can see like each size, try it onto your fingers, as well as this little zip tie kind of thing that you can put it onto your fingers and size exactly to your fingers. So that's like if you try and put one of these on but you can't get it over your knuckle to be able to figure out your size, this can be really helpful. On the note of hammering, this is a dual-sided hammer that's got rubber on one side and then I think like silicone or something on the other side. Basically makes it so you can hammer your rings into their size without denting the metal. As far as the actual metals go, I'm going to be starting with copper because it's a lot cheaper than silver, just to practice while I get the techniques down. So I've got a bunch of square wires. So these two are square wires for the bases of rings and hooks of pendants. I've also got a flat wire here, as well as different types of solder to be using, as well as like a flat sheet of copper. I'm not going to take the whole thing off because this is protected right now, but you can see back there, this is all just like a plain sheet of copper. Since I'm using copper, I've got brass tongs to be using because sometimes when you use silver tongs, it can discolor the copper depending on what kind of solutions you're using for pickling, which I'll get into later, but anyway, these are cool. One of the most important parts, we've got a jeweler's saw as well as blades for that. So that will be so I can be cutting my pieces into the shapes that I want. This right here is called flux. So I spray this onto the metal before I solder it and it helps prevent oxidation ahead of time. And then I have a pickling solution. So pickling is when you dip a newly soldered piece of metal into this solution and it will clean up any oxidation that happened during the soldering process, as well as just clean the metal. So I will be dipping this solution into one of these bowls. So I'll put one of the bowls in there, mix with water, and then have one of these just by my side that I can easily dip my creations into when I need to pickle them. I have this device that I assembled on my own. Thank you very much. Very proud of myself for that. Called a third hand. So it's got a bunch of these lobster clasps that are super strong that you can use to hold your creation as you're torching it. I've seen people also use it to be like etching designs and doing other fine detail things so that you can use your hands while you're just having your creation be held by this. It's also got a magnifying glass so you can see your creations better, as well as an LED light attached to it. Again, so you can see your creations better. One of the last things here that I'll be using is a Dremel, which will be used for a lot of parts of this process. So I'm going to get bits that will attach for polishing, as well as for sanding. And then I might even look into bits that can help with cutting if this jeweler's saw ends up being too intensive on my shoulders. The whole reason that I am transitioning into silversmithing as opposed to wire wrapping is because of my chronic joint pain issues. All of my joints, so fingers, hands, wrists, shoulders. Wire wrapping was way too intensive on the pressure that I was putting on my fingers and my hands and my wrists. because it was a lot of repetitive movements. So a little worried that cutting with this is going to be a lot of repetitive movements on my shoulder. So that's why we've got the Dremel, to be able to put different attachments onto it and use it for different reasons that can help me take some of the pressure off of me manually putting as much effort into whatever it is that I'm making, because the whole goal of this is to make it sustainable and to make this like a long-term business for myself. And on that note, one of the most important tools is going to be butane torch. Now, normally I would probably be terrified to maneuver something like this with a flame, but I have some experience, if you know what I mean, with using this for dabs, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. It's just a butane torch, got little cans of butane to be able to refill that, but I also love that it's pink. So I think that concludes most of my tools. I'm still waiting for some jewelry files in the mail. Not sure if I'm gonna need those or if I can just sand with my Dremel, but we'll see how that goes. Also got a bunch of polishing cloths, so let's see how things go. I am already prepared with a bunch of like ring bases that I've gotten ready just with my wire wrapping skills. So throughout this afternoon, I'm gonna start practicing with actually soldering it and adding bezels and stones to them. So let's see how it goes. I will obviously be sharing a lot more. So hope you enjoyed this. And if you're a silversmith and you have any advice for different tools that I should use or other tools that I should order, please let me know in the comments. Have a great day.